Custom streaming service. Why do I need to change permissions? You'll have to type that in the chat so I can see what you're talking about. All right, looks like we're coming up. Looks like we're going to be live here in just a moment. Why do I need to change permissions? Why do I need to change permissions? In the chat so I can see what you're talking about. All right. So if you're on the panel, make sure that you mute your YouTube, because we definitely don't want to have any feedback, and I think that we're good. All right, we are live. Look at all the people in the chat. Welcome, everybody. My name is Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa. Let's say hello to the people in the chat. Let me put on my adorable looking old man grandpa glasses so I can see what's going on here. Geriatric PPG, what's up? I know who you really are. Lift Paramotor, John Wayne, Bill H, Sean Smith, Joshua Marsh, PPG, Never Trust a Skinny Chef. Shane's in the house. What's up, buddy old pal? Been a minute, hasn't it? Nick Griffith, Bill H again, Nick Griffith again, Tony Marzano, sup y'all, Sean Smith, Lift Paramotors, man, just a bunch of people, Angela Preslick, Sean Smith again. It looks like we got a full house. We got 15 plus people. Para Ninja just said, hi, Sean. So welcome. Glad everybody could make it here. This is going to be an amazing podcast. I don't know. Do I say that every single time? I probably do. I love talking about paramotors. Warning, may talk about paramotors. I normally have that shirt on. Today I have wake up, hug your dog, have a good day. Obviously, I love my puppies. Probably just as much as I do flying. Anyways, my name is Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa. Welcome to Clear Prop TV. Did I say that wrong? ClearPropTV.com, paratalk.org, and you can search for us at PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast on all your favorite podcasting app. As we do always, we're going to say hello to the panel real quick, and then we're going to talk with Robert, our guest. So we'll start over with Will Fly from Will Fly. PPG, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Good to be here. Monday night's my favorite night.
Oh, go on. No, really. Go on. I like your shirt. Where'd you get that from?
I got that from Paralife, from Mr. Mark McElroy. Want a comfortable t-shirt?
Definitely one of the most comfortable t-shirts. So if you don't know about Mark and his paralifeppg.com, definitely go over there and check it out. Really awesome. Got any new videos of you flying around, Will, yet?
I'm actually working on one today. So we'll just play it by ear, see how long it takes and how detailed I want to get. And also got a couple of fly-ins coming up too, so that's always good video material.
Absolutely. Where are you going?
I'm going to Moonshiners, Purdons, and a couple of others. I haven't decided yet.
Gotcha. Your volume is really low. I can barely hear you. I don't know why. Can you guys hear him okay? Yeah. Iffy.
Is that better?
A little bit better.
Okay. So yeah, definitely Purdons, definitely Moonshiners, and a couple of others. I'll just play it by ear, see how things go.
Gotcha. Well, so glad that you're here. You're going to be keeping an eye on the questions. So make sure that you guys, if you have questions, tag Will Fly and also Jim, because they're going to be checking the super chat for me, because it's hard to look over here and look over there all the time. So thank you very much, Will, for hanging out with us tonight. We also got Paramom USA, our very own Linda Anderson. She's our cheerleader. Where's your pom-pom girl?
Right there.
There they are.
Hey. Hello, everybody. Hello, my chatters and my panel and the guest tonight, Robert. Thank you all for joining us tonight on Monday night. The only place to be with the awesomest PPG Grandpa, that is. So you guys grab your snacks, sit back and enjoy.
Absolutely. If you want to be on the show, make sure you get up with Linda Anderson. You can find her by going to paramomusa.com. It forwards over to her Facebook page and say, yo, I want to be on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, clearproptv.com or paratalk.org, and she will hook you up. So thank you again, Miss Linda. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We also got... we already know we got Jim from Canada, the only guy I know It has maple syrup smelling money. Oh, Jim, you are awesome. You are awesome. So tell us, so tell us, Jim, how does your money smell?
Like maple syrup.
If you guys don't know, Jim's in Canada and he really helps us. He hooks us up with all sorts of printing and stuff. So he's kind of been sponsoring our show for us. So tell us a little bit about a little bit of boot to the things that you do for your DIY and your printing company.
Yeah, I've got a DIY printing site. So it's a website where you can design and set up any print material that you want, and then you hit print, or you can send it to me and I'll print it up for you. And it's a little limited on that site as to what all we can do, but if it's something that if there's something you want done that you can't get done on there, just send it directly to me and we'll get it done for you. So, and that's carepp.com. But if you go to carepp.com, there's a landing page now, and where it'll take you to all of them. It'll take you to the DIY printing. It'll take you to care printing. It'll take you to paramotor craziness. It'll do it all.
Oh, really? So it's actually going to go to your YouTube channel also?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And what flight are you on?
152.
Congratulations, Jim. And thank you so much for being on the panel. But obviously, it's not about you guys on the panel. It's definitely not about me. Tonight is all about our guest, Robert A. Muse. You probably have heard of him. I've flown with him years ago, and he's an awesome guy. Robert, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You've been flying for like 3 years, and you've gone to SIV courses. We talked about a lot of fun things on the pre-show, so I know that this is going to be absolutely awesome. If you guys haven't done so already, give us some thumbs up for Robert. He's an awesome guest. All right, Robert, welcome to the show, buddy, and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into paramotoring.
All right. Well, of course, buddy of mine seen a video of Tucker or somebody flying, and he was like, I found our new hobby, because we scuba dive a lot. And you got to take a week-long trip to go scuba dive where we like to scuba dive. So he's seen it, and we started watching all the videos, and then we found Kylo, and we hit him up. We went over there just to watch him train. And I knew once we got there, we would be hooked. And sure enough, we got hooked, and we signed up for the course and been flying ever since. It's definitely life-changing. I've met some great people like yourselves. A lot of other people here locally that I fly with that are 1 in a million people. So yeah, I just love it. Can't get enough of it. Glad I found it.
It looks like John Wayne goes, I know him.
I've seen him train and flown with him a bunch. He was at Bad Apples with me, or just so happened to see him there. But yeah, he's a great guy.
Lift Paramotor goes, who's Tucker? So what Tucker video did you see that inspired you?
I don't think he was the first one I found. Believe it or not, I think we seen an ad on Facebook about a trike for like $3,000, and so we thought everything was $3,000, and we're like, oh heck yeah, let's get into that. Of course, when you don't know, we started thinking, well, we could just take off in the yard and fly to the Dallas Cowboy Stadium, go watch the game, take off, come back. We didn't know nothing, so and then we started finding the YouTube videos of Tucker, and he's got a great bunch of great videos. There's a bunch of great videos out there now, yours and Will's. And so, yeah, just love it. Luckily we found, because we were going to go down to like Austin to get training. And luckily we found Kyle, and he's only like 2 hours away. So, he was a great trainer. Love him to death.
So you train with Kyle, and you've been flying for 3 years and a little over 300 hours. during that time that you've been flying, tell us a little bit about, maybe the trips that you took, some XCs, some fun stuff that you've done.
All right. Yeah. Of course, I've been to a few fly-ins. I've been to Bad Apples, been to Endless Foot Drag. Endless Foot Drag was my first one. And it was about 9 months of me being a pilot. So it was pretty interesting. It was a big fly-in that first year, 2 years ago. Been to some SIV, been flying in the mountains in Arkansas area, flown across country with Little Sean, a gentleman you've flown with before. We flew from Hallsville to Marshall, back to Hallsville, back to Longview, back to Hallsville. It was like 71 miles, I believe, and about an hour and 45 minutes, almost 2-hour flight. So that was pretty neat, to be able to do all that in one evening. And, we came back on fumes. We didn't think we were going to be up that long. I think I only put 10 liters in, and I think he put 12, and he was burning a little more fuel than I was. So it was fun.
Yeah, I bet. So what are you flying, and what is your wing and wing sizes? And have you ever run out of gas before?
No, man, out of the 300 plus hours I've only had one engine out, and that was in, knock on wood, that was at Bad Apples. And I had to land in a field, freshly plowed field on a rainy day. We were flying in the clouds and it was sprinkling a little earlier. And so I got my wing all dirty, but landed on my feet. It was fun. Big Sean, it's funny. Big Sean is actually littler than Little Sean, but he's the dad. So he came and got me and paid some guys to come pick me up. We didn't even have to pay him, but he was like, hey, here's some money for picking them up. But no, I haven't had but that one engine out, never ran out of gas. Pretty conservative, or try to put more in there than I think I'm going to use, but you never know, I fly Mack fly, Moster 185. I have a dudek universal. It's a 28 meter, and that's what I learned on and trained on. And then I have a Speedster 3 24 meter. That's my go-to wing 90% of the time.
So you've flown those two wings. Have you flown anything else? Maybe flown something over at Bad Apples, or maybe flown a different wing over at your SIV course?
Oh yeah, I've flown several wings. I've flown the Gen Carve, I think 22, 24 or something. I've flown the Piper 20. I've flown the Hydron 3. I think it was a 20, maybe 21. I've flown a bunch of them. That I've flown some U-turn, and at the SIV it was a wing. I forget what it was called.
That's the same one that I flew when I was over there.
Yeah, you know how doggy that thing is. And it's heavy. My God, it's heavy. I had to learn how to launch it, because I'm used to these paramotor wings that kind of just pop up. That thing, he had to tow me or pull me a couple times, and finally he was like, hey, don't hold your hands up so high, kind of keep them more wide out and let the wing come up. Don't force it up, because I think I was pulling too much A's. And so once we got it dialed in, I was good to go after that. But it's definitely different launching on that thing. But it kept me alive, kept me safe. So it was
I'm curious how many hours is on that, because I flew that back in 2019, I think, when I went to the SIV course. So it's been there for a while, and usually lets the people that are going to throw their reserve use that, so they don't have to use their own wing. And you threw a reserve too at your SIV, right?
Oh yeah. I threw a tandem reserve, so I threw it pretty high. And so I thought I was going to miss the whole lake, because it would just float it forever. And there was a little bit of wind and some weather was coming in. But yeah, I would recommend everybody maybe getting a tandem reserve instead of these little reserves, because I think I probably could have landed that on my feet, and these other ones, you drop pretty quick on them.
That's true. Do you have your own reserve by any chance?
Yeah, I have a front mount. I forget the name of it, but I got Andrew to repack it when I was there. So I brought it with me and he repacked it. I didn't never throw it, but I should have probably, but he repacked it for me.
Is just a regular round?
I believe it's square. I believe
Oh,
mine's square. So
okay.
Nevo or something. I don't know, some Chinese something or another, but hopefully it'll keep me alive.
Gotcha. So do you know what it's rated for, and what is your all-up weight, by the way?
I don't. Kyle sold me that when I bought the unit and the Mack Fly and everything from him, and he said it was plenty, so I trust him. I can't remember. My all-up weight, I believe. Let's see, I'm about 210, and in the winter about 230 because I like to eat. And then my Mack Fly is about 180 full of gas, so close to 300 pounds, I guess, all up. Right now I'm about 210 because it's hot and I'm sweating a lot. So I'm gonna try to keep it off of me this winter, but you know, us Italians like to eat. So
I think everyone likes to eat. I think that Tony Marzano asked what your gear is, but you already told us what it was. It's a Mack Fly 185 with a My 19 E prop, a Speedster 324 meter, and a dudek 28 meter. Yes.
yeah, my 20, but yes, yeah, everything else was
Oh, the My, yeah, you got the My 20. That's right. I wrote that down wrong. I'm sorry.
sorry.
What a jerk I am. I'm sorry. I'm such a jerk. But anyway, so you really like to go on long trips and stuff. One of the things that we talked about, though, is your scariest moment. So that was that weather that you told me about where the rotor came around. Can you want to tell that story real quick? Your scariest moment when flying?
Yeah, I think it was about 10 months in of my flying. One of my buddies, I'm a barber, so I talked to all my clients. Hey, you got a field? Hey, you got, and he was like, man, my house just burnt down, and I got a pretty big field around my house. He's like, you're more than welcome to take off from there. So I took off from there, and it was pretty tight. The trees were probably maybe 75 yards from the way the wind was coming. And I got up, I was flying fine. I was almost to Gilmer, which is about 20 miles away. And a couple of other guys, one of them took off from what we call the overflow, and one of them took off from behind Hyundai. And they were like, man, this air sucks. And I was like, man, I'm loving my air. And one of my buddies, Dale, was like, hey, come back and we'll just take off from Hyundai. We got plenty of time. That way we can take off together. I was like, all right. So I turned around to come back. And I noticed on the way back, I was kind of crabbing, and where them trees were, I was having to drop down in to get into the field that I took off from, which there was more trees to the south, the way I was going to come swing in and land. And I got down just probably maybe 50 feet above the treetops, and I started getting hammered. It was like I was trying to do some wing overs and I wasn't touching the brakes. And so, that was scary because I kept seeing I was getting closer to the trees I was over. I thought for sure I was going to do a tree landing. And luckily it kind of calmed down and I was able to go, and I was coming to land, and I had a ton of speed. But that speed kind of scared me, even though now I know speed is your friend, but I also had a fence coming up. So I didn't know if I was going to flare into the fence before I slowed down enough. So I decided to give it more power. I was going to climb out to about treetop level because it was smooth through there, and like do a turnaround and land. But I was giving it full power and I wasn't climbing. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to land at this other person's yard, and kind of tripped and fell and busted my prop. That was the first prop I ever broke, which was 10 months in. That ain't too bad, 10 or 11 months. But yeah, it was pretty scary. That reeled me back because I was kind of flying in all kinds of weather. Didn't care. I just got back from the foot drag, and it's windy as hell there 90% of the time, which is wide open. So it's not much rotor, but yeah, that was a pretty scary moment. It reeled me back in. Still to this day, I'm still reeled in compared to having no fear at the beginning.
So after you took your SIV course, so this was before or after you took your SIV?
Before, it was way before.
Way before. So what do you think that if you took the SIV course first, then this would have been like no big deal?
It would have definitely raised the hair on my neck still, but I definitely would have had more confidence in my wing and my ability, because you do put them wings through heck, and then they just pop back open 90% of the time. So I definitely think I would have had more confidence, would have stayed more calm. I've noticed anytime I've ever done something stupid, I panicked. And so staying calm is the best scenario for you, no matter what's being thrown at you, because you can, if you're calm, you think more clearly, you don't panic and do something stupid, you know? So yeah, I would have definitely stayed more calm and had more faith in my gear and my ability. So SIV, I would recommend it to anybody. You know, maybe not everybody needs to go right after training, but you know, within a year or two, I think is perfect. I definitely want to go back. I would like to do it like every year, you know, just to get better and better and get more and more confident, maybe even dabble in some of the acrobatics that he teaches in it.
Yeah, that's right. He's doing some sort of acro and stuff now, which is really awesome. Just want to say thank you, Darren Locklear. He donated $20 in the super chat. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. So you went to the SIV course. You had a good time. You had a broken prop, but you also said too that you had 4 or 5 broken props. Were those just a normal broken prop thing, or do you have a story behind those?
Well, I've broken probably 4 or 5 throughout my whole career. The first one was that incident. The second one was just a trip and fall, and gotten a little taller grass and trip and broke a prop. I've done that a couple times. My most recent prop, which was a 3-blade, was just a complete brain fart, I guess you could say. I was my motor, after that engine out at Bad Apples, I never could get my motor running back normal. And so we tweaked on the, I rebuilt the top end, and my carburetor was still making it super rich. My plug was solid black each time I took it out. So I was trying to lean it, but didn't want to lean too much because I didn't want to replace everything I just replaced. So we were out at this, it's the business park in Marshall. It's not developed yet, so it's just dirt and grass. So I was doing some touch and goes trying to get that right. And I have a little Viterazzi toolkit in my bottom of my seat, and also keep a wing bag, a stuff sack in there, just in case I ever have a motor out on these cross countries I do. That way I have something to put my wing in. And I unzipped it to get the tool bag out, and I noticed that part of my wing bag started to come out, but I was like, oh, I'll get to it in a minute. I'll put it up. I wanted to check my spark plug. So the Viterazzi toolkit, it's good if you're in a pinch, but you know, it has a bar going through the socket that sits on top of the spark plug, and I couldn't force enough force to turn it. So I went to go get another spark plug from my buddy, a regular spark plug wrench. And so I ran over there, grabbed the wrong one, ran back, grabbed the right one and took it off, looked at it and was like, okay, it looks pretty good. I'm going to go back up and see what's going on. And I left all the tools sitting there and took back off, forgot to zip my zipper, and my bag went right through my prop about 10, 15 feet after takeoff. And it was the loudest sound. I felt the strings on my cage break, the netting, and you know, I landed. It wasn't a perfect landing. I flared a little too early because it was cluster, you know what, central at that time. Didn't quite totally know what happened. And then I realized once I landed, didn't zip my zipper. So always make sure your zippers are zipped, because if something comes out of there, it's not pleasant.
That's very true. Just really curious out there, all of you guys listening to us, do you carry some sort of bag with you on your paramotor in case you do have a motor out? I know I do. And you can even do one of those really big black bags that are rolled up, you know, they're really tiny. You can stick them in your front pocket, and it's really good to have something that you can put your wing in if you do have a motor out someplace, because carrying that wing through God knows what to get to wherever you need to go, that's usually over barbed wire and fences and all sorts of stuff that I don't want to think about. Do you guys carry some sort of bag in your paramotor? Let me know in the super chat. I'll be going over to that in just a moment. Will Fly, are there any questions in the super chat?
You got a question from Tony Marzano. He's asking about whether you go through any emergency procedures in your head when you're flying.
That's a good question. You know, Kyle beat it into me to always have a a spot to land, no matter where you're at. Like, all right, if something happened, I'm landing right there. So I try to keep that in mind all the time. I even play with letting off my throttle to see if I could glide, to where I'm going. But sometimes we get complacent, and I'm probably one of the main ones. You just enjoy flying and you're just having so much fun. Sometimes you forget to think of, well, what if this happened? Well, what if that happened? If I'm sure y'all seen on Paramotor, one of the guys about a month back, his exhaust went through his gas tank and he was on fire, so you got to, remember all that. And that's what's so good about the community is people aren't ashamed of posting some of their failures or, because I know everything I've ever done that was not good, I've learned from, like now I double check all my zippers, double check all my straps, so, I make sure I take off further back that way I don't trip over the longer grass that ain't cut, so the good thing about having an incident that doesn't take your life is you learn from it. Hopefully, most people should anyway. So yeah, that's a good question. I need to probably start thinking more as I'm flying about what if this or that, but I do at least try to keep a LZ if something happened with my motor or if I didn't like the air or whatever underneath me or somewhere I could get to.
Yeah, what I found as far as having an out, it's kind of become second nature, so it's not like something you have to really work on, or it doesn't take away any of the enjoyment of the sport, So, initially when you first start, maybe you got to concentrate on, what would be a best setup here. But I find myself, if I'm going over a sea of grain, okay, well, I'm going to climb to a higher altitude, right? And always have a plan for when my motor dies, because it will happen eventually. If it hasn't happened, yet, it will at one point in your flying career. So, right on, man. Are you a low and slow type of flyer, or are you like flying high? What's your style?
Well, of course, everybody loves flying low. The thing is we've got a lot of people that complain, not a lot, but there is some people that complain. So I'm a people pleaser. So I fly a little higher, even though I would have more enjoyment flying low. I try to please people. So I fly a little higher. That way you hear less bitching, excuse my French, from people, even some of the fields I fly over, if I see any cows or any animals anywhere in the area, I try not to, because, people get mad. Oh, you're scaring my cow. Anytime I've flown more than twice over a field that has cows, they're not scared anymore. Maybe the first time they'll run, maybe the babies will run, but most of the time they just look at you and just keep eating grass, but the owner of that property ain't going to see it that way, so unfortunately I wish I could fly lower more often, but I fly pretty high. I'm pretty conservative just to keep people happy and keep people from complaining. When I first started flying, me and my buddy were flying every day. We were having a blast, and we were flying a new area. We flew from the same spot we normally take off from, but we flew a different route because how the wind was coming. And he was like, hey man, there's like 500 deer in this pen down here. Come check it out. And he was at like 500 feet high, and I was like, the air was kind of trashy and I didn't really have an out. He took a little different way and I was flying over this field. So I was like, no, I'm good. But he was like, man, there's like 500 deer in this pen. No lie, I'm not exaggerating. I was like, oh, that's cool. And so we landed, didn't think nothing of it. And somebody was like, who are the guys that are flying? And most of the time people were like, man, that's so cool. So I just put, oh yeah, it was me. The dude inboxed me and he was like, why were you trying to scare my deer? I have a deer farm and them deer sell for $10,000 a deer. And if they break their antlers on my cage, that's $10,000. And so, not everybody's happy about it, so I learned right then and there. I was like, look, it wasn't me, it was my buddy. I was about a mile away from there, but he was 500 feet. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you don't own the air. But since we know now you don't like us there, we won't fly over there, And he was like, yeah, I appreciate it. And then the next door, I had a game warden knock on my door. I thought it was all done and over with, and he done called the game warden, and the game warden talked to me, which the game warden was wanting to get in the sport. He was like, that's so cool, and blah, blah, blah. I didn't know you already talked. Tell me about your machine. How do you get into it? You know, he was all pumped about it. He was telling, he has a state trooper friend somewhere that does it. But yeah, you just never know, you know. That I kind of quit posting a lot on Facebook for a while because of that, because you never know who's happy or who's not happy. The people that are happy, you know, you usually don't hear much from them, but the one person that's not happy, it becomes a big ordeal, you know.
You're exactly right.
So yeah.
Do you fly most of your flights, are they solo, or do you fly with a local group, or?
I have a local group that I fly with a lot, but I do fly solo a lot just because our work schedules might clash. There was about 6 or 7 of us around here that were flying pretty regular, and now it's down to like 4, and usually only 3 of us fly. But you know, one guy's, his wife's sickly, and so he's not able to fly a lot. The other gentleman that I fly with a lot, he has properties all over that he has to check on, so sometimes he's not in the area. So a lot of the times it's just me, but we do get together at least once a week and fly all together, usually at least 3 of us.
Right on. How about so you went to Bad Apples this year, right?
Yeah, I seen you there. I didn't stop and talk to you, but I seen you.
Yeah, well, probably couldn't catch me on the Segway, you know.
Yeah.
Back and forth, you know, just there's so much excitement at Bad Apples. But what where are you going next? What's your next flying?
You know, I'm thinking about going to Endless Foot Drag. That week is my mom's birthday that it hits on every year. So the last 2 years I've had to do an early birthday or a late birthday for her. So I don't know if I'm going this year. I think I'm probably will, just because the addiction's so deep. But
you know you're going.
Yeah.
You already made up your mind.
Yeah, I think that's the closest one to me next. I would love to do Salton Sea, but man, that's far from me. I'm in Texas, East Texas, so that's a trip all the way there. Someone needs to build a company that we can ship our paramotors with them, whether they, you know, truck it there or whatever. That would be awesome, because man, I would just fly to the fly-in, you know, commercially, and then grab my gear and fly and then fly back, you know. I'm self-employed.
What would that be? I mean, I know someone who did that, and so I can just imagine, you know, just pop on an airplane, head over there when you're done, you know.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That's the way to do it if you can manage it.
Yeah, there's just, you know, I see YouTube videos. You got to get to fly it commercially, you got to get all the gas residue and smell out of it, and or they'll confiscate it or whatever, you know. So I heard somebody used Greyhound. That'd be cool, but you'd have to know someone there to pick it up from the Greyhound station and hold it for you. But yeah, that would be, because I'm self-employed, so if I'm not there working, I'm not there making a dollar. And so if I got to take a week just to drive somewhere and then a week for the fly-in, you know, that's a lot of money I'm missing. So we need to come up with a way.
It's like we got Sean coming back online here. What's up, Sean?
Oh, sorry about that, guys. My wife was doing something underneath the cabinet and unplugged the router. Oh, technology, right? So go ahead and repeat everything you just said so I can hear what.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my goodness
Talking
gracious.
about fly-ins and stuff, and he's thinking about going to Endless Foot Drag, and we talk about Bad Apples and flying low versus flying high.
Oh yeah, flying low versus flying high. Let me go back over to the over here to the super chat. I asked a question about the bags, and I was just looking at that when my internet dumped. Sean Smith said I have one from Para Orange, and Tony Marzano said what has 100 teeth and holds back a monster. I don't know. Did I miss something? Travis D said yes, under my seat. Joshua Moore says always carry my stuff sack under my seat just in case. Never trust a skinny chef. Shane said I carry a bag. I have used it a few times. Yes, I have 2. James said I always put one under my seat. I use the same bag my wing comes out of. Why buy 2? Smart guy. Air Ninja, yep, I have to carry the wing, but also to throw down any buddies who land out. Oh, throw it down to anybody who land out. Oh, I never even thought about that. Throw it to your buddies that land out. There, interesting. Bill H says I carry one vacuumed. John Wayne says I do, a stuff sack and tools. Lift Paramotor says not on a normal flight, only on the XC. I'll carry my glider bag with me. I keep mine folded in the chest strap behind the Velcro for the reserve line, says Para Ninja. I think that's it. I think that's what we said. So it seems like a lot of people do carry a bag. All right, good. I think that I'm caught up, at least for a minute or two. So you were talking about bad apples and your different fly-ins that you have flown in. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes. Yeah. And about flying high and low and trying to, respect property owners and stuff like that we got into.
All right. Let's go ahead and continue that. That's always a good topic. Flying low, flying high. How high do you stay away? How I would rather someone see me, take a picture and go, man, that was neat. What was that? Then buzz and buzz and buzz. And they're like, okay, that was neat, but now it's really annoying. So I understand. So what is your normal height that you fly? Do you fly high, fly low? Go ahead and tell me what you do.
I usually stay probably around 1,000 feet usually. Of course, if there's a field I can get in that there's no animals around, I drop in and foot drag and all that fun stuff. But I just try to stay higher. That way, you hear less griping. One of my buddies I was telling the deer story, you missed that, but one of my buddies, it was like the last day, we didn't know, we're not hunters, but the last day of dove season or something. And he dropped off into this field and I wasn't there. I was about a couple miles away. I'm always a couple miles away, but that guy came and hunted us down and he was like, I was trying to train my dog. It was the last dove season day and blah, blah, blah. And so, I just, over the course of me flying, I've kind of realized, man, if you're high, not many people gripe. Like you said, at first, we want it to be seen. We're like, hey, look at us, we're cool, we fly. And after a couple of people complain, you realize, yeah, let them get one picture of you and then just let someone else a mile down the road get a picture of you, that way, you don't get as many people, like the fly in the car, as the PPG Bible talks about, first time it buzzes by, you're like, oh, and then the next time it's like, oh, you're about ready to wreck the car to get it out of the car, so best bet is just to kind of stay high. In my area, is to stay high and just go on across country, get away from your field, even though all the fun stuff's touch and goes at your field where you have your flag set up, all that, but I'm not able to do it because I don't want the neighbors or people to gripe. So I just kind of get up and go,
I agree with you. It's like at 1,000 feet, you can barely see or hear us anyways. So, it'd be like, what is that up there? Is that a bird? Is that a plane? Oh, it's a paramotor. It looks like we got Greg Frederick in the chat said, you fly high? Is that stuff legal in Texas now?
That's one of the buddies. He moved away. He used to fly with me a lot.
Says, Greg says, tell him the story about the crackhead neighbor that was a fun encounter.
Oh, yeah. So we were flying from this ranch. We got permission to fly from this beautiful ranch. And so he owned, I don't know how many acres. It was huge. So we would fly around that whole ranch, just foot dragging. And they had a beautiful tree in the middle of this field that had lights on it. I don't know, some exotic tree. And we would fly around it and we would fly up, do some spirals down and land. And well, one day this dude just comes barreling into the field and was like, you could tell he was pissed. And he was, he was ex-military, but you could tell he lived a rough life. And he was like, who the hell keeps flying over my house? Mind you, none of us flew over his house. We just flew in that field. But to him, his perspective, I guess maybe we were over his house. And, I calmed him down. Well, another guy was like, well, you don't need to be barreling up in here, like that. And then that set him off. And he was like, well, you're not going to threaten me, because he was talking about shooting us out of the sky once that dude popped off. And then he popped off. And I was trying to de-escalate everything. And he ended up being cool, wanting to know about the sport. But, in that neighborhood, it was probably few $100,000 houses, and this dude lived in a she shed. He was the only one that lived in the woods. You couldn't even see his house, in a little she shed. I mean, it was like plywood for a house, and he had a window unit as a window unit. It was probably only 300 square foot, and he threw a fit. None of that. Another buddy come rolling up on his four-wheeler. He was like, we love it, whatever his name was. Calm down, we love it, And I guess he could hear it in his house, and he was maybe a little schizophrenic from back in the Army days or something, that he didn't like it. But he would want it to learn about it, though, at the end, once everybody kind of quit talking noise to each other and calmed down. But yeah, that happened too. So that's why I just kind of learned to just fly high and get gone until I come back. And then usually I kill my motor and glide it in that way. That's one less encounter of them hearing my motor low,
Yeah, that's interesting. Gliding in. That's interesting. Now you have a really good LZ that's around other people. Is that why you glide in, or is this just a particular LZ that you're talking about that you glide in?
Well, we have a few different ones, and some of them have houses around them, and one of them is behind a car dealership, and then there's two houses that are like about a half a mile, or I guess about 2, maybe 3 football fields on the other side. And she actually is the organizer of the hot air balloon race that we have here. And so she at first loved it, but we were flying from there every day. And then I guess after time, it gets old hearing the bumblebees flying, and so now we just kind of get up and go. And then I just kill the engine just because it's fun to practice spot landing. I kill the engine most of the time now to land. And then that also keeps anybody else from, if they only hear it once and they never know when I come back, that's one less encounter that they have to gripe about,
Sounds like you're a very responsible pilot, which is really good. We are about 15 minutes of 8, or about 45 minutes into the podcast so far. Any questions for Robert from the panel? Any other questions from the super chat? And if you're trying to say something, you're on mute.
None other from the super chat. Yeah, man. I mean, how long have you been flying, Robert?
October will be 3 years since I started training. October.
You keep track of your flights, your number of flights?
No, I wish I would have. I scuba dive too, and I never kept track. I do have almost all of them on Fly High, Sky High, or whatever. I try to remember to start that. Yeah, I try to start that every time. But I don't know exactly how many, to be honest. I know it's several, but.
Well, yeah, 3 years, I'm sure several, and 300 hours.
I'm single, man, so I get to, I don't have to ask permission to go fly, just go, so make sure my son's all right and good, and then I go.
So you scuba dive and you PPG. Any other sports?
No, I used to play football and all that, but now, I got an old school 71 Chevelle. I was real big into cars, but once I got into flying, cars are, just sits in my garage now,
Yeah. Right on, man. We were talking on the pre-show. You've flown a Helix, right? Helix prop and an E prop.
And
now what's your experience with the two? What have you settled on?
I mainly fly the E prop. Just because I think the Helix, and we know the Helix will take a bigger lick if something happened, a butt landing or whatever, but I noticed a couple years back, certain people were getting their hands hit by launching, and I noticed every one of them was a helix. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, and there might be one out there that was no, it was E-prop, but I noticed a lot of people that got their hand hurt by launching was a helix. And I noticed one time when I launched with the helix, it actually caught a line as it was coming up, and it was only a 125. I think I can fly 130 on my Mack fly. So I was like, I'm going to stick with the E-prop just because. Now I did have a Vitarazi fast spin, and I liked it too, but that was one of the ones that I broke. I switched out my, the Mack fly has two frames, two rings, hoops, whatever you want to call it. One's a travel and one's a foldable. Well, I got Matt Minyard to hook me up with the travel, and it has clips that kind of keep the strings tight and keep everything together. And one of my clips broke as I landed one time, and the netting got into that prop and tore it up. So I switched back to the foldable. I like the foldable frame better than the travel frame.
Right on, man. I just recently, actually at Bad Apples, I went from a 130 prop down to a 125 prop because I kept catching some lines, so I'd much rather have the 130, for the thrust. But hey, I mean, and I did notice a difference stepping down to the 125 just a little bit, but I'm happy with the 125.
Yeah, the Moster has enough power that just that second delay or whatever shouldn't matter, on the thrust. 125 or from a helix to a E-prop. But I did notice that the 130s and the helix were kind of hurting some people, and I'd rather have all my fingers than have an extra few pounds of thrust,
I hear that.
It's interesting. While you were saying that, I was trying to look for the fast spin. I think that I found it, but that's actually the first time I heard of a Vitarazi fast spin. Did you like it?
I did. It's basically a helix. I think Helix makes it for Vitarazi, and they changed a couple of pitches and the thickness of certain things because I think you have to have longer bolts for the E-prop, or no, longer bolts for the E-prop than the helix, and I think they matched the thickness, so you didn't really have to change your bolts. And I liked it a lot. I only got probably 20-25 flights with it, and then I had that incident. So, but I did like it. It did seem like it had a lot more. It kind of took that hesitation out compared to the helix to the E-prop, and it seemed like it had a lot more thrust when it started going. It felt just as good as my 3-blade, to be honest, if not better. I liked it, but it's also $100 more. So.
What'd you think about your 3-blade?
I liked it. Like we talked in the pre-show, it does have a different wisping or a humming sound compared to the 2-blade, but I put it on probably 9 months in, and I flew it up until just the other day. So I had a lot of flights on it, and I enjoyed it. I got used to it and didn't really bother me anymore of the sound.
Well, that's good. Any other questions in the super chat that we need to address?
Travis DuPont's asking why did I know the answer to this, I bet you, but he's asking why you flew under the bridge.
Well, just had to do it,
I was going to say because it was there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember that story when we were kids. I was looking for the troll. He wasn't under there though.
I must have missed it when I didn't have internet. What bridge did you go under, or when was this? How'd that happen?
A couple weekends I flew with Travis and a few other guys, Bill H. and Brad Garvey. Did you ever fly Gillum when Kyle was out there at Gillum? It's close to Naylor, but it was more, I guess, north. It's right there on the Red River before Naylor, probably 30, 45 minutes. And there's a bridge. The water's so low, there's a bridge. Well, there's a sandbar, and then the bridge is right past the sandbar. So me and Brad went under it, flew under it. I actually flew with the Eagle. There was the Eagle there. That was pretty majestic. We don't see many of them in Texas, but there was one right there on the Red River.
Oh, but that was really awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. There was some mockingbirds or some type of birds that were pegging it. It was chasing, the little birds were chasing the eagle off because I guess it was trying to get its eggs or something. And it kind of flew right by me. I was like, oh crap, an eagle. So I turned and kind of watched it for a second. Thought about being Del Shanzi and put my foot on. No, I'm kidding.
Wow, we went there. Oh, damn it.
It smoked me, man. That thing could flap twice and be damn near a half mile down the road or in the air, whatever.
It's amazing how slow we fly. It really is.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 8 o'clock. I know that, everyone wants to go fly and everybody's ready to go do stuff. To any other fun story or anything like that? Well, okay, so we know about your scariest moment with that weather. What was your most fun or best flight that you have ever done?
Man, there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
Any butter night is like, it's just awesome. But flying with the clouds, that's pretty awesome. And the first time I ever got above the clouds, it was a ton of clouds, and there was just a pocket here or there, which we could always maintain visual contact to the ground and all that. But it was they were just big, fluffy, huge clouds, like at 1,000 feet. And that one's probably got, I think it's on my Facebook. It's my background picture, but not my profile picture, but my background picture. It was amazing. It was just, you couldn't quit laughing. You're geeking the whole time up there. Whoa, thank you, God. Just laughing the whole time, and it was just amazing. I think that's probably, every time I fly with the clouds, I get that feeling, but that was probably the ultimate moment.
Isn't it hard to breathe when you're that high up? I always wondered about that.
No, it
You
was
guys are
only,
above the clouds. Is it hard to breathe up there?
no, it was still in Class G airspace, so we were able to get up to the clouds or next to the clouds, just not in them. But it gives you a false sense of security because, normally you look down and you see the ground and you're like, okay, I'm pretty high. I'm 1,000 feet or 4,000 feet, whatever you're used to flying. But once the clouds are there, we still had holes so we could see the ground, but it almost makes you feel like, okay, I'm only 50 feet high because the clouds are right there, even though you can't land on a cloud. But it gives you that false sense of security. So, it was pretty awesome.
Have you tried? I don't know if anybody asked you. Have you tried paragliding yet?
No, I want to. Me and Big Sean, he's probably in the chat. I think he's went to one in Tennessee, but weather rained him out twice. And I hear that there's one in Oklahoma, just north of us in Durant, Oklahoma. I think we're going to maybe try to do that this fall or winter. That'd be cool because, them paraglider guys, you think you're a good paramotor pilot? We went with a paramotor guy to the SIV with us, and he was running circles around us, and we actually had more hours, I think, than him, but they're just better pilots, man. And so I've seen that, and I'm like, I need some of that. I want to get good.
If my son was sitting here right now, he'd be like, dang straight we are.
They are. They're great.
Well, see, you need to get to San Diego and go to Torrey, hang out at Torrey Pines, and meet up with Robert and people he flies with, or Blossom Valley is beautiful. They're both beautiful, but yeah, you would have a blast over there. Just
That's
something, think about.
Yeah,
A lot
that's
of
on my
guys
bucket
would
list.
help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just curious if you've done that free flying yet. Which one would you prefer though? Like if you tried them both, you like
I
to
think,
do the paramoting?
I think so, just because you don't have to be on a mountain or have to get towed up. You can just go yourself, which, I see guys that paramotor cut their engine off and then thermal, but I think I like paramotoring, just the smooth air, just the calm, you don't have to think a whole lot other than I need an out, while landing motor dies, but, just being in the air period it's definitely amazing. It's out of this world, to be honest.
Yep, I totally get it. After I did my, my first hand on, it was like, oh my gosh, it's like I said, you can't explain it till you have that first experience, because everybody sees it different, and it was definitely life-changing for me. I tell you what, when I got up in the air, poor Eric, I was like screaming in his ear the whole time. But I was like, I was so happy. I was so excited, I was just yelling and yeah, I did it. This is so cool. And the next day, when I woke up, I could hardly talk because I was screaming so loud the day before. But yeah, I just, wondering how people, if they decide to do the free flying first and then, the paramoting. But my son has done, tried both of them, and he did the SIV too. And so, yeah, he learned a lot on that part, but he prefers to free fly as to doing paramoting. So, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Anyway.
Once I do it, I might be like, yeah, I like free flying better. I just don't know, because I haven't really done it,
Yeah.
Well, your SIV kind of free flew.
Yeah, true.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, I definitely, that's one reason why I like to kill my engine on landing and I pop my ear cups, I, put my throttle up, and just the freeness, just hearing the air whistling by you, it's just, another joy to it. So I could see how not having that engine, would be amazing. Just the quietness and the just freeness of it.
Sure.
Hey, Robert, I have a quick question for you. Do you have a clutch on your paramotor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you still get the spinning sound from the prop when you're floating down?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that.
Well, I did the dual start, so I think I had to have it, but yeah, Kyle, he actually was like, man, you don't need a clutch. You'll like it better without a clutch, but I went on and did the dual start. That way I had two options instead of one if I needed to start mid-flight, but yeah, I would definitely like to fly one without the clutch, just to be able to kill it and just have that smooth, peaceful time.
Yeah.
So do you do any midday flying? Like you get up there about 5,000 feet and kill it and just surf like you are free flying?
Not yet. I have midday flown, but it was cloudy, overcast, I've done that, but there wasn't many thermals because it was cloudy and overcast. I have flown late in the morning before, but I haven't climbed up to 5,000 and just seen if I could climb or stay without the motor. That's kind of part of the reason why I did the SIV. That way, I would have more confidence and know, trust my wing better and have some knowledge of what to do if something did happen while I was up there.
Well, you flying with a cloud cover during midday, that's like the safest time to go out and fly during midday. That's kind of what I do too. If I'm going to fly midday, it's going to be, less than 8 miles an hour and preferably a cloud cover. That's the safest. I like safe.
Yeah.
I'm all about the safe. Well, it is 8 o'clock already. I cannot believe how quickly this time went by.
Can I ask one more question there?
Absolutely.
Question: what's the biggest thing left on your bucket list for flying? You got a dream to go somewhere, do something? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, I would like to do the Costa Rica trip with one up or just go. I think Matt Minard has a contact there too. I would like to do the Italy trip. That would be amazing. And then, like she said, Torrey Pines. I think that's everybody's like, that's like the cherry on top of everything from what I hear and see from the paragliding community. Everybody loves it there. So, yeah.
You said something about an Icarus race too, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would love to do that. I'd love to beat Tucker's time.
I haven't heard anything because of COVID, but anybody hear about the Icarus race, and are they having it this year, or is it going to be next year? Does anybody know anything? And of course, if you do, let me know in the super chat. Speaking about super chat, is there any other questions in the super chat?
Darren Locklear, Carolina PPG, was asking what part of Texas? You're East Texas, right?
Yeah, Longview, Texas, East Texas. It's 60 miles from Shreveport, Louisiana, and about 120 miles from east of Dallas.
Did we do a thumbnail?
Yes. Gotta do a thumbnail with you, bud.
Awesome.
Tell us when you're ready, Mr. Will.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
All right. And the thing is, it's not like we can't take a screenshot, of the show.
I don't put my thumbs up because they look like ghosts because of my black and white screen. So it's all dark.
I'm going to take a screenshot, Linda, where you have your glasses on. I forgot to put my glasses on. Darn it. So let's do another screenshot, right?
I remember to take mine off.
Oh.
Yeah.
But glasses make you look smart, and you look smart,
Yeah.
Linda.
I already know I'm smart.
We know she's smart because she asked me to be on the podcast. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
There you go.
That's right. That is right.
Yeah.
So no other questions in the super chat. Everybody has asked all their questions.
I think we are caught up.
All right. That is awesome. Today we're just going to do an hour podcast and no after show. It's been extremely busy over here and I'm like really exhausted. Matter of fact, as soon as I say goodbye to everybody, I'm going to go and crawl into bed. I'm that tired, believe it or not. But anyway, Robert, it's really good to see you again. It's been a long time since we've gone out and flown, and really happy that you joined us and hanging out here on Monday night on ClearProp TV.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Robert. Appreciate your time and everything coming on the show.
My pleasure.
And just like we tell everybody, anybody that's been a guest, anybody that's on our guest chat, and you know who you are, you're more than welcome to jump on and be on the panel. I mean, that's why, these guys are here. I mean, they were Linda, were you ever a guest or you just hung out with us?
I just hung out with you guys.
Yeah, where'd you come from? That's crazy. Just 3 years ago, all of a sudden, there you were.
I just kind of, I don't know how it all happened, but I just kind of transitioned into,
Not sure how it happened.
Or I just moved my way right in, how you do, like, oh, I like this show. I'm going to start hanging with them. And pretty soon, oh, do you want to be on the panel? Okay. The rest is history, right?
Absolutely.
I haven't left.
Absolutely. One of the things that we're going to be doing on the first Monday of every month is we're going to start doing a game show where you guys come on and you guys can win prizes and stuff. So we're going to do that once a month on the first Monday of every month. No guest. It's going to be all about FAR 103, rules and regs, including the preamble to our 103. We're going to be talking about apps. We're going to be talking about weather, all of the things that you and I do on a constant basis, being a paramotor pilot. We're going to be talking about to make sure that you know all the rules and regulations and what they mean. Here's something. Here's one that I found that a lot of people don't understand, and I think that Will and I talked about this before too. So here's a sample question. You and your friends decide to go and launch before the sunrise, and you want to see the sunrise, which is really awesome. So you turn on your strobes, and your strobes are legal. They do shine for 3 statute miles. So they are legal. You get up there and you get up to about 5,000 feet and you're looking at the sunrise. It's like, oh, this is marvelous. This is what it's all about. Is that legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Illegal. Illegal.
700 feet, 700 AGL is all you can do 30 minutes before or after sunset.
Unless your G goes up to 1,200 feet, or out west, because these are the ORs, G airspace can actually go up to 14,500 feet in some places out west. So very interesting. You got to know your airspace. You got to know your cloud clearance and all that stuff. So brush up on it this next week, because you could win some big prizes coming next Monday.
I like how you set that question up too. You throw all the little facts in there and how everything's beautiful. This is like
It's illegal. It's illegal. So you definitely need to know your airspace and even sectional charts. So we're going to be doing that. So look over on Sky Vector, check out your FAR 103 and check out weather. If you have the chance and you get to, go to Foot Flyer and get the airspace video. That is one of the best airspace videos I've ever seen out there. Foot Flyer puts it out. Jeff Goen on his, I think it's .net. Is it footflyer.net? I think it is .net. I don't think it's .com. Anyways, Jeff Goen puts out amazing videos. Matter of fact, I got a lot of videos. I got the advanced stuff. I got everything, all of them.
I got them.
And it's really good. It's really good information. It's always good to learn and learn more and more and more. I know that you guys been to school. You learned a lot over at school, but do you continue to learn after school? This is, a rhetorical question. I mean, what do you guys do in the super chat? Do you guys continue to learn, or you learned and now it's like, I'm just going to go fly and that's all I want to do? Let me know in the super chat, because we just got a couple more minutes before we say goodbye to everybody. So Miss Linda, have any thing going on that's coming up this next month, paramotoring or guests coming up or anything that you want to share?
Let's see, we've got, I still have the 25th of August. I'm still working on getting the guests. The 22nd of August. But the 8th, August 8th, if Joshua Marsh is in the chat, he is going to be our guest.
Woohoo!
August 8th. And
Awesome.
then August 15th, we are going to have Matt Minyard.
We're going to have the Minyard. Awesome.
Yeah. So, and then the last one of the month, the 29th, is Victor. I don't know how to say his last name. Dramba. How do you pronounce it? Dramba. So he's going to be our guest for the 29th of August. So.
I got a nominee for the 25th. You can
All right.
hit him up. Sean Lee Smith.
Yeah, he's always flying. I see his stuff everywhere.
Flies all over too, so that would be a good one.
I should get him on here, huh?
Yeah.
On the 22nd. I wrote his name down on my list because I have my potentials, like who I want to have as a guest, and I kind of go
it's
through.
all
So
over. Once
he
your
is
name
on my list.
list.
And Sean, if you're in the chat, yes, I have you down as a potential
So
guest.
we got all of August. Now September, the first Monday and the second Monday in September, we probably won't have this show, but we will have it the rest of the month. So anybody that wants to be on the show or any nominations, put them in the super chat now, or you can email me at ppggrandpa@gmail.com. Go over to paramomusa.com and tell Linda who you would like to recommend.
Yeah, just message me or whatever. Yeah, Robert, if you ever have, a guest in mind or whatever, say, hey, this guy be good. Just, just message me and say, hey, what about this one or whatever.
Awesome.
That helps me out a lot, really, you guys. And I always tell my panel, if you have anybody in mind, just, Jim does it too. Just send it over to me, and then I just take it from there.
All right.
Awesome.
Because that's how I roll with my happy calendar. I like my calendar being full every month. See, yeah, I don't
Me
like the empty
too.
spaces.
We missed a question in the chat.
Okay.
This is for Robert. Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane wants to know if you've ever heard of Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane.
So I met him. I don't know if he remembers or if he's picking on me or what, but I met him at Bad Apples, and he was, he was telling me a cool story of what happened to him and his wife the night before. So yeah, I don't know if he remembers me, but I met him. He about had to get crazy on a guy, I think. Yeah.
You gotta know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that sounds like our Skinny Chef Shane. Awesome.
That's
Well,
the Shaney.
thank you, Miss Linda and Will Fly. We appreciate everything that you do on the show, all the stuff that you do behind the background. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I mean, really, without you, Will, Linda, Jim, everybody else that helps in the background, all of our amazing guests. You guys are just incredible, and I really, truly appreciate everybody that helps out.
Yeah.
Will Fly, how do we get to your crazy paramotor shenanigans?
You can just go to YouTube, look for Will Fly, or go to willflyppg.com online. You'll find me.
.com. And Mr. Jim from Canada, tell us about the decals that you can do for us.
I can do decals.
Ooh, you're using American words. Awesome.
You betcha. Contour cut if you want them. If you want flex cut so that they're cut, they got a nice, well, how do I explain that? Maybe that's too technical, but contour cut. So it goes all the way around all the letters and stuff like that. I can do it. And whatever colors you want. I got process printing on vinyl.
I need to do like a PPG Grandpa one that's contour cut or something. I might have to.
Yeah.
I might have to ask you to make me some decals or something that smell like
well,
maple syrup.
Now I would have to research that.
Scratch and sniff decals for a PPG Grandpa. That's
Oh my
hilarious.
God, that's funny.
So Jim, how do people get up with you and get stickers and things printed and stuff like that?
Go to carepp.com and you'll be able to check out all my websites and connect with me in whatever way you want to.
Are you single? That might open up something that you just didn't want to open up, but
As Rain Vela would say, the answer is no.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jim, for everything you do for us, making the calendars, printing out stickers and all that stuff. Linda, thank you for everything that you do behind the scenes, getting everybody over here that wants to be on the show. Will Fly, thank you for all the stuff that you do for us and for the community. We definitely appreciate you. And of course, Robert, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome stories. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the ones that I couldn't hear when my internet was out, but that's always fun to re-listen to the show. And if you guys wanted to re-listen to the show, just search for PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast on your favorite podcasting app. We are everywhere.
Thank you,
So-
chatters. I have to say thank you, chatters and viewers. We couldn't do it without you. Really, we
Exactly.
could not do it without you. And my guest, Robert, tonight, thank you so much again. We totally appreciate you. And like I said, if you got any guests in mind, just shoot them my way. There you go. Well, don't shoot them, but shoot how you say it.
You might be if I could shoot them, I might be sending a couple of my exes. But just
Do
kidding.
they all live in Texas?
All of them.
Can't
Oh,
say
my
I don't
goodness.
make Grandpa laugh, but
All my exes live in
I try
Texas,
that.
right?
Yeah.
True story.
Oh my goodness, way too much fun. And again, Robert, thank you so much.
Paraglidingtalk.com on Thursday night. I had to hurry up and throw that in there like really fast.
Well, you can wait just a quick second because we can go through and tell everybody how to get to the other Paramotor podcasts. So every Monday you can go to clearproptv.com. Matter of fact, how many people have actually typed in clearproptv.com and actually gone to our clearprop place?
Oh, that's a good question.
Interesting. If you haven't, go to clearproptv.com and check it out. It actually forwards over to ppgzone.com. And if you haven't had a chance to get a free account over there, it will show you all the pilots in your area that are registered. So if you don't know pilots, go to ppgzone.com and search for this little interactive map. You can actually see all the people around you that fly. It's pretty cool. And recently I learned about the app Gaggle. That is awesome. If you don't know about that, check out Gaggle on your app store.
There's another one called Relive, and it's pretty
Relive?
awesome. So it'll tell you to, let me make sure I'm saying it right.
Where did I put my phone?
Yeah, Relive. So you'll take a picture before you take off.
Mhm.
And then every picture that it asks you to allow to your camera roll. So every picture while you're flying, whatever you take a picture of, it puts it in the story. So it shows.
Yeah. That one tracks you. It shows your tracks. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
So
cool.
then it'll pop up that picture when you get there of what you took a picture of, and then
It does video too.
yeah.
It does video too. Relive. Yeah. It sure does. It's really amazing. Matter of fact, I took a flight last year and used Relive and took pictures and videos and stuff. It turned out really awesome.
Awesome.
Forgot about that one. Thank you. There's also I don't know where I put my phone. I put it someplace when I was trying to restart the Wi-Fi. I don't know where it is, but there's also another app. It's a hot air balloon app, and I can't remember what it is. It's not Ryan Carlton. It's an actual app, and it tracks your flights. And there's another one too.
Hot Air. I think it's called Hot Air that tracks.
That's it. Yeah, Hot Air. Yeah, there's a lot of awesome apps. Anybody have any good apps? Put them in the super chat for us so we can review them and check them out. Man, I had a really good time again. Mondays are always fun. Will, are we having a show with Skinny Chef tomorrow?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that one real quick?
It's just a few paramotor guys getting together and talking about paramotor stuff and other stuff. It's kind of an open type topic. But I've also put a link on willflyppg.com. So if you go there, click on the link, it'll take you right to the page.
Is that ppgshane.com? Is that where we're looking at?
You can go to ppgshane.com. You can go to willflyppg.com, and you'll find a link.
Awesome.
Tomorrow night, 8 p.m.
And we also got an all girls podcast on Wednesday
night.
And Jade hosts that. You can find her at paramotorgirl.com. And of course, there's something going on Thursdays. That's your cue, Linda.
Paraglidingtalk.com with my awesomest son, Robert Michaels, on Thursday night. You guys don't want to miss the show on Thursday. I've been hearing that it's going to be really good. So, I'll jump on and check it out. It's going to be fun. Well, it's always fun, but
Now I know why she added me, because we got the same name, Robert.
I know.
That's why she
Exactly.
added me. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now it all makes sense. Now we can redo this podcast knowing that information.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
Speaking about URLs and places to go, Robert, do you have any places like Instagram or YouTube, Facebook, or anything like that? Or are you just kind of like mellowed out on that?
I have a Facebook. It's Robert A. Muse. Instagram, I think, it's Fades for Days. Like I said, I'm a barber, so I used to just post all my barbering stuff, but now you won't see nothing but flying stuff on there. I have a YouTube page. I think it's under Robert A. Muse or Augie03 or something, but I don't really post on there. So you might see a couple of videos on there. That's it.
So the best thing to do is get up with you and go fly with you in real time.
Right. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that. Next time that you're swinging around this way, or next time you go to a fly-in, let me know. You got my number, right?
No, but I got your Facebook.
Well, let me give you my phone number real quick.
All right.
No one's going to listen to this, right? I mean, no one's going to hear this. All right. So
Get some prank calls. No.
it's 501 747-3558.
All right.
And anybody that's listening to this is more than welcome to text me. Tell me who you are. If you are a pilot or if you want to get into flying, let me know. So that phone number is open to anybody that wants to text me and say, hey, what's up? Anything else before we head on out in a boot?
Thanks,
Nothing?
Rob. Been a great guest, man.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Robert. And we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go private for just a couple minutes, like, until 8:30. And then we're going to say goodbye to each other. So goodbye, everyone out there that's listening to us. If you are listening to us on your
Thank you,
favorite
chatters.
podcasting app,
Much love.
my name is Sean Symons. You can always find me at iflyparamotors.com or ppggrandpa.com. Oh, okay, Robert, you just texted me. Good for you, bud. I love it. And of course, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane over at ppgshane.com, and then on Wednesday over at paramotorgirl.com. And there's that other guy on Thursday. I forgot his name and his .com. What is it, Linda?
Robert Michaels. Right.
At Paragliding Talk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So see y'all.
I
Have a
was waiting
great
for you to say.
y'all have a great evening, and you guys don't go anywhere. We're gonna chat for just a minute. We're gonna kill the audio stream. So everyone that's listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, we are Audi 5000. Boom.
Peace.
And now for all the people that are watching us live stream, we're gonna go Audi 5000 now too. Oh, sad.
Again.
Sad. But we will see you very soon. All right.